Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and once again we're in A-Class street racing, and this time we're dealing with the 1973 Ford XB Falcon GT, an absolute superb muscle car, one of the last powerful muscle cars in the early 70s before the fuel crisis completely ruined the whole class of cars. So upgraded it quite heavily. As you can see, the braking and the handling in particular are a lot better. It's also got more power in terms of torque and horsepower, as well as weighing less as well. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to perform. I think this is the first, one of the first at least, classic engine, combustion engine powered cars that we've had on the series. I know we took out the Barbie Corvette. I think we took out that anyway. But that was an all-electric vehicle. So yeah, in terms of combustion engine vehicles that are older, I think this is the oldest that we've had. I stand corrected though if that's not the case, but still. Typically these kind of cars don't do all that well. There's only a couple that I feel like are kind of, OP in terms of being genuinely competitive in these kind of races, but still, I enjoy the driving as much as, winning, which obviously isn't all that much, but still, I do enjoy the driving. So hopefully the handling and the initial acceleration will benefit us. We don't have the best of top speeds at only 170 miles an hour. Faster than what it could do originally, but obviously a lot lower than some cars here, like that Ford GT for instance, will comfortably be able to do more than 200 even in stock form, never mind being upgraded. So yeah, not sure how we're going to be able to do against that. But it doesn't look like a straight heavy course, to be honest. It with the AI cars on the road, that can always change how a race is going to pan out. So we've got a whole host of upgrades on this car now. We've got slick tyres, which are wider front and rear than originally. Race suspension, but I've only gone for a street transmission on this because 6 speeds really did kill the more top speed acceleration, because once it got past 150 or so it did seem to slow down quite a fair bit, which is not useful. So I went for a 5-speed street transmission, which works a lot better. And then we've got race suspension, race weight reduction, race drive line, and you probably can hear it, but it's got a supercharger on top of its V8 engine as well. So it gives that extra bit of a kick. Which you really need for when it gets towards the higher rates of speed, because without any forced induction it was struggling to get up to its top speed originally. Well, we're sitting well behind everyone else at the moment, so yeah, this hasn't proved to be all that competitive so far. This is the first time racing it, but I don't see how I could have raced this any better to have gotten into a higher position. So yeah, we're just going to have to deal with the comfortable loss in this race. Hopefully that is not going to replicate itself in the next 2 races, but regardless, yeah, so we've got 180 extra horsepower now in this car, so we're now on 480. We've got an extra 117 pounds-feet of torque, so now we're dealing with 497 pounds-feet of torque, and it's now a 5.8 litre V8 with that supercharger that I mentioned earlier on top. So yeah, plenty powerful enough, just not quite sure why it's not able to keep up with the rest, to be honest. Sure, it's not to 100 acceleration isn't particularly great, but it's not to 60 is pretty solid. But yeah, obviously we're up against either newer competition or far better period production that we are in at the moment, because that Dodge Dart came first. That's obviously 5 years older than this, but that was a drag car even from stock and had more power than we had from stock as well, so bit of a shame, but still. I do really like this car. I love the look of it. It's easily one of the best looking muscle cars from its period. Obviously American inspired in some regards, but still great regardless. And I've got a couple of extra competitors now, a Portofino and a Volvo V60 of all things. Let's see how we can do up against a modern Ferrari. Fair bit of understeer there, unfortunately. I don't think the weight balance is the best, but regardless, have to just deal with the understeer. The handling overall is really rather good. Those thick, sticky tyres are extremely helpful in keeping all of the power and torque in check. Obviously it's got a lot more power than it had originally, and at the end of the day it is a classic muscle car, so you know the handling was never great to start with, but we've definitely improved it, especially in terms of those brakes, which really do help slow this car down really nicely. Just the drag car there struggling to get in going around corners. No surprise, it's probably more of a straight line kind of car. As we'll see now, yep, there it goes, shoots off like a rocket. His top speed originally wasn't particularly great, but I imagine that has been improved. Oh, damn. Struggle to keep third now. We would have kept it if we hadn't crashed. Oh, god damn it. Well, a couple of mistakes there, one not entirely my fault. Landed us in a worse position than last, but luckily it's still not last place like before. But yeah, that is really annoying. Kind of like the fact that someone outside is doing building work in the middle of the morning. But yeah, regardless, yeah, 6th place position ahead of the Volvo V60, and obviously that means we get more points on the Portofino and the Volvo. But yeah, that mistake, that crash by someone else at the end there really did scupper us. We would have gotten 4th place, and if we hadn't crashed in the first instance, then we would have gotten 3rd. But that's just the way it is sometimes. That Dodge Dart really did capitalise on its straight line speed at the end there. Properly quick in a straight line, that vehicle. But yeah, regardless, we do now weigh 2,643 pounds, which is 404 pounds less than in its original form. It's easily one of the lightest muscle cars going from its period. It only weighed 3,047 pounds originally, which is extremely lightweight for a car from that period. So yeah, even without the reduction in weight, this still would have been a pretty good handling car. But weighing less than 2,700 pounds now means that it can now do 0 to 60 in 4.576 seconds, 0 to 100 in 11.098 seconds, and like I said, it's got a top speed of 170 miles an hour. So yeah, that 0 to 60 time is pretty rapid, but for whatever reason the 0 to 100 time is nowhere near as good. Most cars in this class typically can do 200 in less than 10 seconds, so we're a ways behind that, unfortunately. But I think we've got plenty of mid-range clout in this car to at least overcome that initial 0 to 100 time. And the fact is, most of the time, you're only doing 0 to 100 off the line. You're rarely doing that, if ever, in a midst of a race. hopefully we can get a decent position in this race. Come on. Hope you can't hear what's going on in the background. Do apologise if you can. But when I started, nobody was making a loud noise. Oh damn, I thought I dodged that. AI traffic being the pain in my life again. God's sake, I don't want to get in your fight, you two morons. Shows that someone in that Ferrari has not prioritised handling. Put more power into it, not like it needed any more power, quite frankly. As emphasised by the fact that it's gone into a tree. Not helpful. Around this roundabout. Yeah, as you can see, acceleration at these kind of speeds is not my strong point. Obviously, we could have emphasised the handling more on this, the speed on this car more, but I feel like that would have compromised the handling by a great deal. We would have had to take some handling parts off to, you know, compensate for the fact that we would be going out of A class. So yeah, again, another 6th place position. Just a couple of areas there that gave us bad luck, really. The AI traffic being the main cause. So yeah, if we hadn't clipped that Volkswagen Bora, we would have done better in this race, and if we hadn't have clip the first car in the previous race and then obviously get thrown another car into our path in that race as well, then we would have done better. But yeah, it's all about what ifs. So yeah, but we still held on to 5th position. Obviously that helped that the Volvo and the Portofino were only joining us in the 2nd race onwards, but yeah, still. I like the car, I like the way it handles, I like driving it, I like the sound of it, and yeah, it's enjoyable to look at while racing as well. So yeah, it does have plenty of positives. It just so happens to not be very competitive, or at least in this kind of class of racing. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I certainly have, even though we didn't get any wins there or anything outside of a top 5 position, but still, it was fun enough. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.